Alright, we are back. Not a whole lot of developments since the last sitting here. I do want to say I'm getting closer to getting to work actively on getting rebuilding of the archive. I lost track of it since as I was saying it. I'm getting closer to actually working actively on rebuilding archives again. I just need to finish a video that I'm like halfway done with at this point already. Okay, so it did a few small things. One thing that did occur to me was it has been mentioned. This occurred to me, but I don't think I ever said it out loud. That maybe to access Rings of Fire you need 4 players. I don't think that's true. From what I can make out from what Rings of Fire is, that doesn't seem to be the case. And also when I looked at how did we do this? When I looked at the XML, it really did just seem to say that this thing is locked by default. How in the world? I might actually have to look here. I figured there'd be a more obvious way to determine whether you had a multi-tap in here. Give me a second, I might have to look up how to actually set up a multi-tap in PCSX2. No, never mind, it's just that it turns out that putting a multi-tap in port 2 is not under the port 2 menu. That's great. Okay, let's plug these all in here. See if it says it doesn't detect multi-tap. If I go back into here. Game. Okay, let me work this out. So fun fact, this thing only supports a multi-tap on the first port, not the second one. And by that I mean the game. I've never managed to get a multi-tap to work on the PS2, on a real-life PS2. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Anyhow, so I got this one set up. Just gonna get the start button set up here. And that should be good. There we go. Alright, so is that it? Can I now access... Oh, no. Okay, with 4 people I can only access a couple of games. And none of them are Rings of Fire. Yeah, no, Rings of Fire is set up to be unlockable somehow. I just have no idea how. Let me fix up my controllers again after all that. Okay, okay. Yeah, though, so I'm not sure the deal is there. So, other thing, though, is not something to do, but it's just something to mention. I do have an idea that may allow me to do some stuff like accessing stages and whatnot without having to do all of the repacking, without having to get all that done yet. I still want to do that, of course, to enable easy arbitrary modding, but for the purpose of playing this here and now, for getting hashes and just for showing the stuff in the game, what I think may also work is I can probably intercept the files as the game loads them in the PCSX2 debugger, and then modify the memory to change their contents, the contents of the XML files, to unlock stuff and so on. So I may look into that. I'm not going to do that now, but I may look into that for the next of episodes after this one. It's hard to say ahead of time how easy or hard that would be. I have found where files get loaded in the binary, so I could easily find that in the debugger as well. But the thing is, most of these XML files are compressed, so I need to find where they get decompressed and then modify them after they decompress, but before the game actually reads the XML inside them. Which could be easy or could be a pain. It's hard to say ahead of time. Okay, so we did all the buggy stuff, and we've done all the ATV, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so let's get to the good old truck. There we go. The Buccaneer. There we go. So yes, plans to get stuff done here. I'm 100% hoping at this point to actually get to show all the stuff in this game, like getting to show the Rings of Fire event. I have no idea how you unlock that normally. Getting to show Rings of Fire, getting to show the cross-save stuff, or whatever you'd call it, just the USB link exclusive content. The 4 special unlockable vehicles that you normally have to do, the whole darn... Wait, is it 4 or is it 8? It was 8, wasn't it? You have to do all those point-to-points for. Do I have analog control today? I do. Amazing. Alright, we're gonna have some nice heavy-duty driving today. For the next while as well. Playing it a little safe for the moment. I may eventually learn to screen through this at a higher speed, but I'm doing fine for the moment. But if I remember correctly, it's the end of this course that gives me a hard time, so... And we've seen before, there's extremely strong rubber banding. On the head-to-heads. Nope, just fine. Very good. Big guy, Scott. Prototype header. That's not going to do a whole lot of good for us, but I'll take it. And these things will only get easier as you get better vehicles. Or, well, better vehicle pieces. Of course, ideally we could use the ultimate vehicles that you get from the point-to-point races, but we don't have access to those yet. I suspect we're going to have fewer truck sponsor events to do just because I've already done a lot of truck sponsor events. As a consequence of using the truck a lot. Look at that massive difference. Literally 1%, not even 1%. Closer to literal 0.5% improvement in the horsepower. Awesome, thank you. Oh, okay, we actually have maxed out engine and exhaust now. And there's no prototype suspension. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, there is a prototype gearbox. As far as I'm concerned, this stuff is just maxed out. You know, you can play with the weight, can't you? Alright, we already have it minimized to the greatest possible degree, though. Okay. For a truck, I suppose that minimizing is probably what you want, more than maximizing your weight. Just because they're so darn heavy already, that's kind of the biggest obstacle you have to handling these things effectively. We have spent a lot of time on some of these courses. I recognize Cheddar quite a lot at this point. Although Cheddar does have a couple different tracks on it in reality. But still, we spent a lot of time on it. Some of these trucks just look like buggies to me. Alright, we've seen those plays. Oh, I should think back to messing around with ordering the playlist at some point so we can hear those good swivel head tracks or something. Is it that my vehicle's unusually heavy or something like that? No, there was another vehicle to my left that was the same model and they still start faster than me. The AI just starts faster than you in this game. That does bug me. Yeah, this game really has an idea that the most engaging thing you can do in a race is catch up to opponents, which I don't really agree with. I myself generally prefer a more pure, fair feeling racing experience. Which is definitely not the only one, but it is what I find myself enjoying more. Man, my engine is just not able to keep up with these guys. Maybe my vehicle's just too heavy or something. Nothing went obviously poorly or even well, I guess, either in that race, but see this guy on my left, the guy in the yellow? Look how much faster they start. I'm not aware of anything you can do to start faster. Unless there's some mechanic I'm missing. Like, just starting with the right timing or something, but I don't think that's a mechanic in this game. But yeah, so the pack just starts ahead of me, and then, well, what can I do? So, goodbye. On the left there. But then what can I do? Well, not that, presumably. Sorry, music better like hearing. Unless there's something better you can do by shifting gears manually. I do notice there's a short period where I am... I can't go any faster, but it's not shifting up for some reason. The automatic transmission does seem to stall out for a second there. And there are little bits like right there, I could just not lose traction immediately. There are probably some parts where I could go a little faster that way if I managed to keep better grip. And there are, of course, the obvious little things like better racing lane. Sometimes these guys just go fast me for reasons I can't explain. Yeah, we're doing okay here, but we're not managing to pull ahead. And I don't really know what to make of that. It doesn't feel like there's a lot to do well or poorly here, to be perfectly honest. Oh, there's a reason to go on the left. Doesn't feel like there is. I feel like I'm doing marginally better? It's hard to say. There's just not a lot going on in this course. And you need to not do that. There is that turn that I need to take well. Look at that, see, like, it feels like what's happening is I just stay in first gear for a while. When I seemingly shouldn't. So I don't know if it's actually just that I'm getting a slow start because I just pushed that guy into the tree stump instead of myself. But, so I don't know if the reason I start so slow is because everyone else is actually shifting gears when they ought to. And my vehicle isn't. Feels like that really might be it. I lost some speed there. There's a whole pack in front of me. Darn. That little slowdown I got there really lost me a lot. But yeah, I also find that everyone seems to be climbing faster than I am. I don't know if my vehicle's too heavy, or if there's some other reason that their vehicles manage to have a bit more push up the hill than I do. Because of course at the same time I do have a pretty powerful engine, but still, my vehicle's too heavy, that's like how much. Look at that, I'm just sitting here in first gear for reasons I can't quite ascertain. Granted, mine, yeah, I don't know. So people running that stumping there. That was better. This time I felt more like I kept up. But that'll be enough, I don't know, because everyone else somehow gains on me there, and I don't know how. Like, it's just a straight line. What is there to do better? And there I lost traction, so that slowed me down a bit. Yeah, I'm having trouble here just because I don't know what there is to do better. There's not a lot to do here to begin with. Huh. Aside from just my gearbox losing me some time at the beginning, I wonder if I should try shifting to manual transmission, at least for the one race. Because I do wonder if that would mean I could actually get ahead of my opponents a bit more quickly. Because the fact that I'm starting behind is not doing me any favors here, because there's basically not any good way to gain on your opponents here, because there's no place to try to do better than anyone else. See, look, they just went faster at that than I did. Again, was that a problem of me not being able to climb the hills quickly? Sometimes I gain on them. I can't really tell why I do and don't gain on them in some cases, though. This time just now, I think this went pretty well because a lot of that time I managed to keep my grip a lot better at that time, so I think that helped me keep my speed up. But still, oh geez, oh goodbye, goodbye. Very good. Huh, odd. I still think there's a bit too much going on in this game for me to want to use the gear shift normally. I enjoy manual transmission in racing games where there's not a lot else to keep you occupied. The biggest example I've always had was Hot Wheels Burn Rubber on the GBA. That's a game it's a very plain, pure racing game. There's like, you don't have items or other crazy mechanics or anything. So managing the gear shift is the one thing that keeps me mentally engaged in that game. On top of other funny things, like in that game, I don't know what happens in this game if you try to downshift while you're going quickly. Of course, in real life, you don't do that. But games don't really have any notion of damaging your gearbox or whatever that way. So who knows? Burning Rubber just has, you have a maximum speed for each gear. So if you downshift at a really high speed, you just instantly slow down. It makes your actual brake totally irrelevant, which means it's optimal to use a vehicle with really high speed and acceleration that is normally balanced by having poor braking, except you have arbitrarily good braking if you use manual transmission because you just downshift to slow down instantly. Anyways, next time we'll keep trucking on. See ya.